Okay, those of you who know me quite well, I am a huge fan of networking. Andrew Dobbin is a consummate networker and is the chief franchisee officer of BNI in Northern Ireland. So I'm speaking to the converted when I'm talking to Andrew. As you can see, I've put in hobby horse because it is a hobby horse of mine. And I suppose really what has disappointed me so much is that the whole art of networking is being thoroughly diluted with all sorts of silly things happening, like speed networking. Never walk away from speed networking. Run as fast as you can because it doesn't work. It's just, I particularly dislike it. It's not a way to network. And I want to, just over a few minutes, give an example of the last 10 days of my life in terms of networking. And it's not about me, but I just want you to see the mindset behind it and where the opportunities appear. Going into any networking environment, the best frame of mind to have is, how can I help others? Forget about selling at networking events. You will not be selling at networking events. What you're doing is looking for opportunities. And I can tell you, they're all around you if you have the right mindset around it. You will not believe the amount of opportunities are there. The key to this is the old Pareto rule. Be interested in other people. So you speak 20% of the time and the other person speaks 80% of the time. What you're there to find out is information. You want to be interested in, genuinely interested in other people, and you will not believe the amount of information people will give you, because people's favorite topic is themselves, and they're always keen to impart information to you if you're prepared to listen. And you have to have that open mindset around it. Equally, you should have a system to follow things up. Follow everybody up, because that's just good networking etiquette. When I'm going to a networking event, I have a number of things in my mind. So, what am I looking for? I have a one-to-one consultancy business. Yes, of course, I'm interested in that. I deliver workshops, keynote speaks. I'm also looking for radio show guests for my weekly show. And I'm also looking for members to join the VBON. So I've a sort of wide agenda. Equally, I'm also thinking of all of you and my clients. And are there connections that can be made? Because if I'm there in this situation, just because somebody's not of interest to me in a business sense, they may be of interest to somebody that I know. And this will relate to you in a couple of minutes, Vincent. It may be an opportunity, it may not. So be open-minded, be there, be interested. I was at the Allied Irish, not the Allied Irish, that's very good, the All Ireland Business Foundation last week. And how I got there was courtesy of a ticket from Therese Lewis, who is one of the members of this group. Now, very kindly, she gave a number of us free tickets because they had a stand and I think they get complimentary tickets. Just through networking with her, we got a ticket valued at about €200, free of charge. So we were able to attend this. It was a great place to be and great to get out and meet people in the flesh, as they say. One of the people I know and working with at the moment is Alan. I'm not going to mention second names here, but Alan would have been probably less experienced around networking. I said, why don't we meet up and let's go around together and let's explore the opportunities. And I think it would be fair to say at the end of the day that Alan's mind was changed in terms of the pressure in terms of networking when you're going out trying to sell is really high on you. However, when your expectation is something different, networking becomes a casual conversation and you start seeing all of the opportunities that are there around you. I met many people, Joseph was there and a number of other people that I hadn't seen for a while, and it's always great to catch up with people and have a chat. No agenda, but again, intelligence, when you start receiving that information, you never know where you're going to find it. Over the course of the day, I attended one of the stands, which was being manned by Emmanuel, who is one of the course leaders in Maynooth University. A very, very nice man, and we had an interesting conversation. Now, you'd be saying to yourself, Maynooth University, Alec, where does that fit within what you're doing. Again, one of the things I spotted was that their information leaflets were poorly designed. So I will be suggesting to designers to make contact, and I can introduce them to Emmanuel, who might introduce them to their marketing department, whatever size that is. But what I want to say is there was a design opportunity that's there. In terms of finding out more and more about what they were doing, what I discovered was, hang on a second, I'm pressing the wrong buttons here. Good man, Alec. What I discovered was that my workshops on the soft skills, like networking, like higher fees for the same money, which is aimed at professional services, actually could fit quite nicely into what they're doing. So he's gone off to explore that to see what budgets are there and if there's opportunities for me to speak. In tandem with that, I have a keynote talk, and they have a couple of end of year events. And if I can be slotted into one of those, he will do his best to make it happen. So suddenly, out of meeting somebody who on the surface has nothing to offer me, there's a whole world that's opened up. We've had some interesting discussions. I will follow him up and we will stay in contact. There are opportunities there, and if I see others for people apart from the design, I'd be only too happy to introduce them in. One of the other stands was manned by Chris. This is a printing company and promotional company based down in Kerry. They've nicely branded themselves, got a lot of sort of positive comments at the show. So I decided to meet up because they seem to be going places, and this is a sort of client that would fit nicely within what I do. So in fairness, we had a Zoom call, and we had a very positive Zoom call, and he was interested in what I did. But he asked a key question. He said, "How much do you charge?" Now, we weren't talking about me. I was more interested in finding out about his business. So I said to him, why don't we have a further chat without giving him a price? Because once you start giving out prices, people have perceptions. I'll have, which I've talked to you before about, is about the discovery meeting. We'll go through that process. There may be an opportunity there in relation to business, or else he might have introductions from me for other business. So I have an open mindset. Equally, they've been in business for quite some time, so he's a potential radio show guest for me as well. So there's a lot of boxes being ticked, but I will follow him up consistently. Paddy, I will mention the company who is there, represented Nomadic Displays. Nomadic Displays, as I discovered now, are only the only major manufacturer of display stands for shows. And I got chatting to Paddy because I've always been interested in that side of the business. Nick and myself were involved in it quite a lot. But during the course of the conversation, Paddy, who's been with Nomadic for quite a long time, mentioned he started his world of display knowledge and information with a company called GDS, which were suppliers to us at one stage. And one person in particular he was very fond of was a person called Peter Nutley, who Nick and myself had dinner with at Christmas. So suddenly there's a natural link in there. Also because Paddy is involved in the whole world of exhibitions. People book exhibitions well in advance. Their spaces, they have to buy their spaces. There's possibilities and opportunities for me in terms of my keynote talking. So there's another open space for me. In terms of designers, there's opportunities for design there. While they do have their in-house team, there is an opportunity for designers there. Also, I mentioned Stephen Murta. Stephen Murta is part of this group. We haven't seen him for a while because the world has opened up and his whole world is around exhibitions and he travels a lot. And Paddy knew Stephen. So now we have a number of people just through a short conversation that link us together and provide opportunities for both of us and for me and for other people to follow through. But again, I will stay in contact with them. Again, over the last 10 days, I had 3 other meetings. One was with Damien. And Damien is a person who's asked to meet up with me online. Now, I had chatted to him once or twice before, and my perception was he sort of conducted a humanist type weddings. Nick, you mentioned that just in the chat at the beginning. So that was my perception of what he did. However, that was incorrect. And it was only through having a chat I discovered that Damien is an event organizer. So for all of the people who are out there, and you know yourself when you organize a significant event for somebody, the amount of work that goes into it. But on top of that, on the day, you find yourself pacing the floor and trying to make sure everybody's being looked after. So everybody has a wonderful time except yourself because you're too busy working. Damien removes all of that. How does that link to me? Because again, Damien is working with companies who are looking for keynote speakers. And also, I could be talking to people on a regular basis who would prefer to have a lot of the ardor taken out of running an event and have somebody like Damien run it. So I thought to myself, okay, there's a natural fit for both of us. So again, we will be following that up. Ajay connected to me from Turkey. I thought, my goodness, why? It turns out she runs a company specializing in high quality olive oil, and quite a significant one, exporting into the United States and Japan. She is becoming the equivalent of a sommelier in olive oil at a very high grade. And she's looking for distributors in various parts of Europe, and she's coming to Ireland. Again, Vincent, if this is something of interest to you, I'll talk to you separately and make an introduction. But she had reached out to me. In terms of how that works, I thought to myself, okay, I don't have any contacts here, but I was thinking of Vincent when I was talking to her. It may be a fit, it may not, but at the least, she's going to be a radio show guest for me maybe next week or the week after. So that's all tied into that. I talked to Jack. Jack is a contact I picked up through Claudia. Claudia works for Fáilte Ireland, and I was part of the team that was involved in the initial discussions for the Global Speaking Summit that's here in Dublin in the end of September, beginning of October. And Fáilte Ireland have been staying in contact with me. Again, I'm keen to promote this keynote talk, so I asked, can you introduce me to your event organizer, who turned out to be Jack, a very, very nice guy who gave me a lot of intel on what's going on. He's now providing me with some introductions to some of the key players around the events and who books in those sort of keynote speakers, and also mentioned that they do have their own couple every year in-house, and he'll keep me in mind for that. So I'll stay in contact with him. Yesterday we were out in Blackrock. There's a number of you here who attended that. David, I know, and I can't see everybody on my screen. And Net Walking is something organised by Wendy. Wendy and myself set up this virtual business owners network over 2 years ago now. Wendy's less involved in this because she's other things to distract her, but she steps in and out. But she organises this net walking, which is about meeting up in real, having a coffee, having a chat, and just enjoying yourself. And it was great to connect with so many people. Alan, too, was somebody I met on the last net walking when it was in down in Bull Island, and we all froze our asses off down there when it should have been nice. But anyway, it was good fun. I chatted to Alan, who had an interest in my sort of one-to-one coaching. We didn't pursue it too much because he's too busy at the moment, but Alan was at this yesterday. And so as a result of that, we had a good old chat walking around, and I have a meeting with them on Monday, which may or may not lead to business, but at least why not? It's a better chance than I had before. Kevin owns a small coffee shop on Kerrisford Avenue called On a Platter. A very, very nice guy. Wendy obviously knew him, so we were able to get our coffees there, and he provided free pastries. I had a good chat with him, and it turned out to be very nice. I was again asking him about the olive oil thing, and he thought, well, that's interesting. And I said, if it's something that you would like to pursue further, I'll make the introduction. So I sent him on later the link to the company in Turkey, and I said, I'll make that introduction if you so desire it. In chatting with him, he has quite an extensive knowledge around the business, and had his issues around the recession, where they had a much bigger operation, but now they're starting to expand again. So there may be opportunities for me in that situation to help them. There may not, but by staying in contact, it won't cost me anything. It was great to catch up with so many. We had chats there. John Halliwell was up from the country, who looks after Wix. I was delighted to see him, as well as so many other people that I haven't seen for a while. At these events, I'm always looking for new members for this group. You never know, because we need to just keep replenishing them. While we have 200 members, not everybody's still available, and we saw that through the recent survey. I'm also, of course, being selfish and looking for radio guests. And again, if you're interested in that, please let me know. It's a great opportunity to talk about your career skills, experience, and knowledge, and also what makes you the expert in the world that you're in today. I suppose, in summary, if you have this need for instant gratitude, well, then networking is not for you. It is a slow burn. You can be very lucky. I was at a networking event with a Dublin Chamber. Going back, I forget how many years. An interesting story, which I won't bore you with now. But in talking to a person at 8 o'clock on as it finished up, uh, we just had a quick chat. It turned out he was the managing director of Group 4, and their offices were literally around the corner from where we were. He said, "Call into me tomorrow morning." And I did, and picked up 10,000 quid's worth of business. So sometimes you can be lucky like that. Networking is a mindset. And so, therefore, it has the ability to enhance not only your business life, but your personal life as well. You you will have all sorts of needs and requirements around your home or your car or whatever it is. And it's amazing through the world of just getting to know people. It's great when you have a problem, like you need an electrician, you can pick up a phone and you know somebody, you can come out and do that. It certainly does enhance your life. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Because remember, you're not out to sell anything. You're gathering intelligence on behalf of yourself and other people, which you're quite prepared to share. I will give a quote which Andrew will resonate with, and it's the main mantra and motto of BNI. It's called Giver's Gain, and it couldn't be summed up better in 2 words. Be prepared to give, and you shall be the recipient of so much from it. I know that for doing it for 40 years. And the only reason I wanted to share all of this was to show you in practice what's happened over about the last 10 days with me, how a series of meetings and different things happening have opened up opportunities, not just for me, but for others that I know as well. And I'll stop the recording. And if anybody has any questions, happy to answer them.